Good morning or afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I am the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. Today's webinar is on the social media aspects of BNI Connect. So connections, groups, testimonials, how to find other people in BNI Connect, and how to be found in BNI Connect. So all the different ways that we can use BNI Connect to interact with other members worldwide to establish relationships, to deepen our relationships, and possibly even to be able to pass referrals to people on a global scale beyond just the borders of your chapter. Today's webinar's content is scheduled for approximately 30 minutes of content, although this is a live webinar. So questions are welcome. If you have any questions as we're going through the content, please do ask those questions. I will stay on the webinar until all of your questions are answered. This webinar is being recorded. It'll be recorded in its entirety, including the questions. Afterwards, usually within a couple of days, it will be made available on our YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is, if you go to youtube.com/BNI Connect Global, you will find our YouTube channel there. It has a ton of videos up there. People have logged about 79,000 minutes of viewing past webinars on all sorts of topics. So please do check us out there. You'll also find the webinars on our support site, support.bniconnect.com. If you go down to the training section, you will see all of the webinars listed out month by month by month. So you can click on a particular month and go through the webinars for that month. But let's get started on today's content. Today's content, again, is about connecting with other members worldwide. Now, I always like to start this off with a little story. A couple of months ago, I was sitting here in my office, and a client of mine walked into my office. Now, I've been a member since 2002, so going on about 11 years now. And the client says to me, hey, I need a referral. Great. How often does that happen? That somebody walks right into your office and asks for a referral. I said, sure, how can I help you? And he said, I have an in-house bookkeeper, but, reached the limits of their knowledge of QuickBooks. So do you have anybody that's can help them, maybe an accountant or something like that, that knows more about QuickBooks, that can teach them a few things? I said, absolutely. I have a certified QuickBooks consultant in my chapter, and I really wanted to use the social media function of BNI Connect in order to give more information to my client about this member. So I went to the regional website. Now I'm going to go to our test regions. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus here. But I went to find a member, and I searched for the member on the regional website. And when I found that member, this is what I pulled up, something very similar to this here. It didn't have a picture. It didn't have much information at all about this member. Not very good for building that credibility. I kind of wanted to print out this page and give it to them, or give them a link to this page via email so that they could really go in, contact the person, know more about the person, and really help that referral along. Instead, I ended up having to write the number down on a piece of paper and hand it across to them. Now, in contrast, if somebody had gone to my regional website and they were looking for my services, they would go to find a member, and maybe they'd type in something like computer support, or they'd just type in my name. And if they came across my profile and clicked on me, this is what they'd find. They'd see my picture, so they knew my face right away. They'd have my number, my mobile number, my website, my address details, my social media links. They could jump right onto LinkedIn, find more about me, jump onto my Facebook, follow me on Twitter. They could read more about my business, recognize my logo, know more about my ideal referral and top products. This right here is the cornerstone to your social media presence with BNI Connect. You do need to make sure that you fill out your profile and have this updated so that when you do start making these connections with other members worldwide, and as people search and find you in BNI Connect, you will be establishing a good presence, a nice, visible, and credible presence. Just very quickly, the place to update all of this information, both on the inside and outside of BNI Connect searches, is to, after you log into BNI Connect, click on the My Account button. This is where all of that information is stored. So the first tab has your name, your company, your chapter information, and here's where you start to put in a little detail, the My Business. This is your description of what your business does, kind of like your elevator pitch. So what you would tell somebody that doesn't know anything about your business in about 30 to 60 seconds, that's what you would put here. Your keywords, and I'm going to come back to this in a second. The keywords are extremely important for being found when people don't know your name. The second tab is the user profile. You can choose your own name. You can change your profile image, put up your own company logo. All of your contact details, including your social media links, are all on the next page, as well as your address. And note that this top address here is the one that will display on the public website. So if you do have a home office or a business based out of your house, or you simply don't want to have your business location listed online, I would recommend still keeping in the city and the state, but put in something like by appointment only. Or you can put a word in like private so that your address isn't listed publicly online. Skipping over tag, you have your bio information. So your bio, a couple of commercials, your gains profile, and your tops profile. If you have limited time, I would suggest starting with the tops profile, since that is also the one that appears here on the regional websites. This is the one that the public sees. But let's talk about, again, connections. So that's probably one of the first things that you're going to want to do once you have your profile established, is to connect with other people in BNI Connect. So as I said, your keywords are one of the most important things that you want to fill out. So again, these are text specific. So if you're an accountant, you want to probably make sure that you put accountant and accounting in there. And having good keywords will put you a step ahead of people that have never logged into their profile or may not have put any keywords into their profile. I'm going to go back to the home screen. Now there's a couple of different ways that you can access these social media components. The first screen that shows up is your My BNI Business. So this is where we pass our online slips and track our online slip activity, as well as all of our activity, both the paper and the online slips up on top. But if you click on My Network, this is where all of the social components are located within the system. So you see it's broken into 6 tiles. We have our connections. And again, that's when we reach out and connect with other people, similar to LinkedIn connections. We have our groups, and these are the social media groups or the discussion groups in BNI. We have our shared documents, and these are documents that your regional office has shared for you to access. We have testimonials, your regional upcoming events, and BNI Connect has an internal messaging system as well. When you want to connect with people, there's a couple of ways to do that. You could click on My Network and click on the Add button in Connections. Or from any screen in BNI Connect, you can click on this magnifying glass in the upper right-hand corner. And this will allow you to perform a search for people in BNI Connect. Now what this is going to do is to pull up a search function. You'll notice you can search by name or keyword. You can search anywhere in the world, although you can search by one country at a time right now. You can also narrow down the search by state or by city or by a particular profession. So for example, let's say that, let's say we have a couple of people on the webinar today. Let's say I'd like to search for Jerry Morin is with us today. So I could just type in Jerry's name and do a search for Jerry. And assuming that he's in the United States here, this will return the results, and I can see a Jerry Morin here in the Trusted Referral Partners. He's a virtual marketing assistant and marketing services. And if I click on Jerry's name, this will take us to Jerry's profile. So here's Jerry. Nice profile, Jerry. Well done. And he's in the California Orange County North region and the Trusted Referrals Partner, and he's also the chapter webmaster, I can see. I can see his business. I can see his keywords, his company, his logo, his contact information if I'd like to get in touch with him. I can also take a look at his bio and 60-second presentations and gains profile and tops profile. I can take a look at his connections. I can look at his testimonials, his photo gallery, and any groups that he's participating in. Now, if I'd like to connect with Jerry, what I could do is click this Add Jerry to My Connections. And what this will do is to send him a message to say that Jeremy would like, excuse me there for a second, I had to sneeze. This would send a message to Jerry saying, I'd like to connect with you. Now, I can customize this if I'd like to. I could say, hi, Jerry. Nice profile. Thanks for being on the webinar today. And this would send him a message letting him know that I would like to connect with him. And then it'll take me back to his profile. And you notice once you've sent a connection request, that the option to send a connection request does go away. Now, let's say that I don't know somebody's name, and I'd really like to, let's say, connect with other SEO people here in the United States. I can use a keyword or a name. So I could type in, let's say, SEO, and I could search across the keywords of people and click on Search Members. And this will return anybody who has SEO in their keywords, and it'll also return anybody that has SEO in their name as well. And this is a pretty long list. We can see there's about 661 entries here. So let's say that I'd like to narrow that down. I can either just perform more searches, or you'll notice that there's a secondary search down here that has the ability to filter the results. So let's say I'm just looking for people that have to do with social media. I could start typing this in, and we'll see that this filtered the list down to about 9 people. So I can see we have a bunch of people that are in the profession and specialty of social media, as well as people that have social media in the name of their company, like the social media ninjas here. And again, if I'd like to connect with any of them, I could just click the plus sign, and this would send a connection request to these people. I could also click on them and look at their profiles. Now, here's a suggestion for you. If you're doing a big search like this, where you may be looking to connect with multiple people, if I click through here, it will actually lose my search results. So what you may want to do is when you find a bunch of people that you'd like to connect with, my recommendation is to right-click and choose Open in New Tab or Open in New Window. And that way you'll get another instance without losing your search results. Then I could, oh, is this the person I was looking for? I could then connect with that person. But when I close this, it'll bring me back to my original search results. So if anybody out on the webinar today would like to connect with me, please feel free to do so. Just type in my name here, Jeremy Walsh. And I'd love to connect with you in BNI Connect. Now, once you've started connecting with people, you can manage those connections. Now, you can do that by going back to your home screen and clicking on the My Network and going to Manage under Connections. You could also go to Network Connections. Both of these options will take you to the same place. So this is kind of like your address book, if you will, for all of the people that you're connected to. There's just a text list here that you can scroll through. And there's also another list here that you can scroll through that has a picture next to them as well. You can search against your connections. So let's say that I'm just looking for Jerry again within my connections. I can see that I'm connected to a couple of different Jerrys. And I guess Jerry Moran hasn't accepted my connection yet, so that's why he's not in this list. Once you have those connections, though, I can click on that connection. Let's say Jerry Williamson. And I have some options. So this has an abbreviated contact details. I also have the ability to send him a message. Now, this is an internal message. If I wanted to send him an email to his regular email, I would use the email that's listed here. I could ask Jerry for a testimonial. I could give Jerry a testimonial. I could view his full profile, so his bio and his games and his connections and groups and all of that. Or I can remove him from my connections. Once people have started sending you connection requests, the place that you can accept those is down here at the bottom, you'll see a little file folder that says Received Requests. And this is where Jerry would see my connection request. Now you can take a look at the people that have sent you connection requests. So here I have one from Nancy. And Nancy is on the call with us today, so thank you for sending me a connection request. I could read her message, and I can choose to accept, ignore, or reject this request. So I'm going to go ahead and accept this request, and Nancy will be added to my list of connections. If there's somebody else that you would, let's say this person, maybe I would like to ignore or reject that request. And that would hide it from your connection requests, but it wouldn't notify the person that you have not accepted that request. If you do choose to reject a request, it will send them an email letting them know that the connection request was rejected. So again, to accept it, I can read the person's request if I'd like to, and then I can choose to accept it. Now, one note about your connections, you will be automatically connected to all of the people in your chapter by default. And the ones that are in your chapter are system managed connections. So if I take a look at all of my connections, one of the people in my chapter is Abby Valino. Now you'll notice that with Abby, I don't have the option to remove her connection. The people in your chapter, when new people come into your chapter, they will be automatically added to your connections, and when people leave your chapter, they will be automatically removed from your connections. But I can still send Abby a message. I can ask her for a testimonial. I can give her a testimonial, and I can go and view her full profile if I'd like to. Now let's talk about testimonials for a minute. Testimonials are kudos that you give to other chapter members. It's a great way to build credibility with the people that you're connected with. The place for that is in the testimonials section. So you can give people a testimonial through the connections interface by going to their profile in your address book and clicking on giving that person a testimonial. Once you started giving and receiving testimonials, that's managed in the testimonials section. You can get there through clicking on the button within My Connections. You can always click on Network and then Testimonials. Or again, if I'm back on the My Network page of the home screen, I could click on Manage under Testimonials. And I can see here that I've received 8 testimonials from people that are my connections. If I'd like to, I can go in and look at them by clicking on their name either on the left or the right. And some testimonials are only a couple of sentences, and some testimonials could be a few paragraphs. At the bottom of the testimonial, you will see that you can choose to either display this testimonial on your profile, or if you uncheck that box, you can make it hidden from your profile. Now, if the person has made a mistake in the testimonial or you don't like the testimonial, you can also choose to delete the testimonial. One thing to note is that you can only receive currently 1 testimonial per person. So once a person has given you a testimonial, for example, I've given 15 testimonials to people, so I can only give each of these people 1 testimonial. So the one other part of the profile is the opportunity to share photos on your profile. And this is a question that we get a lot in support. And they say, well, it's great that we can give testimonials to other BNI members, but what about all the testimonials I receive from my clients? Since your clients don't have access to BNI Connect, they can't really leave you a testimonial in BNI Connect. But there is a way to do that. And that was a great use that was suggested for the photo gallery. Now the photo gallery, if I look at my inside profile, This is my internal BNI Connect profile. You'll notice there's a tab here for photos. And this tab will only show up as soon as you've shared a photo. And you can see I have a number of photos that I've uploaded here, including I put in a testimonial that we received from a client. And here's another copy of one that is actually a letter. Now, as long as you can save your testimonials as a JPEG or a PNG file, basically a picture file, you should be able to upload those into your profile. Now, the place to upload those, click on Network, then Picture Gallery. Here you can edit or edit the description or remove any of the photos that are up here. You could also upload new photos. Once I click on the Upload button, it'll take us to a screen. The magnifying glass allows you to search your computer for another photo. So if I'd like, let's say, wanted to upload another copy of my logo, I could do that. I can choose to crop this if I'd like to. And then I can give it a description and a title. And once I click Submit, this will be uploaded into my photo gallery. And people can view a slideshow of your photos by clicking on any photo, and they can scroll through those photos. So I'd like to touch on one more thing today in our topics, and that's the groups in BNI Connect. And this is really where the power of the global network starts to come into play. Now the groups, if I go back to my home screen and I click on My Network, I'll see the groups listed here. And this is a list of the first 4 groups that I'm participating in. To get into the groups function, I can either go in and click on Manage, or I can click on Network up at the top and go to Groups. Now this will take us into the discussion groups aspect. By default, when you first go in there, it is going to bring you into all of the public groups. Now we'll notice there are 2,221 active groups in BNI Connect right now, and there are groups on all sorts of topics. So just on the first page here, we can see there's a group for BNI photographers, entrepreneurs. This is one of my groups that announces these webinars. The Golden Nuggets group, the social media marketing, and we can go through and we can page by page take a look at each of these groups. Now with 2,220 groups and about 6 groups on a page, it's going to take a while to scroll through all of those groups. Instead, you can do a search among the groups. You can search by keywords against the title, the topics, or the posts. You can also search by creator. So let's say that you'd like to search for groups created by Dr. Meisner. I could type his name in and click Search. And we'll see that there's 2 groups here created by Dr. Meisner, From the Founder and Why BNI. And I highly recommend that you join these groups. This is a rare opportunity for BNI members to have an actual conversation on a daily basis with our founder, Dr. Meisner. And just so you know, it is him that actually goes in and does all of the posts in these groups himself. So you do have the opportunity to discuss things directly with him. If I'd like to go in and take a look at that group, I can by just clicking on the group name. We can see it's a very active group. There are a ton of topics. Here's a topic that was just posted a couple of days ago, so I could click on the topic name. We can see that this was the original post, and then we can read through all of the comments that were added on this post. If I'd like to post a comment on here, I could click post a message and add my message to this list of comments. If I'd like to, I can go back and view all of the topics and comment on any other posts that I'd like to. I can also look at the participants in this group and the details about this group. Now, the other great thing about the groups in BNI Connect is the ability for you to create up to 7 of your own groups in BNI Connect. And this really allows you to start conversations with other members worldwide. And there's been some great uses for these particular groups. To add a group, you would just click on the Add Group button. You do need to give the group a name. Now I'm just going to call this group Test 1111. Choose the access type for the group. Now, there's 2 types of access. View, meaning that anybody can come in and view the posts of the group, or view and post, which means that in order to be able to post to this group, they would have to be a member of the group. The group type, there's 3 different types to choose from. An open group, meaning anybody can search for this group, anybody can participate and either view or view and post in this group. Invite only is really, it's a closed group, so only yourself, the creator of the group, and anybody that you designate as a moderator of the group would be able to invite people to become a part of this group. It also would not appear in any searches for groups. Members can invite would mean it's kind of a halfway in between the both options, where it's still a private group, but once people become a member of the group, they can invite their friends to participate in this group as well. Give the group a description. The language is really just a descriptive language. It's to let people know if they're searching the groups what language most of the posts are going to be in. One thing to note is it does not translate any of the posts into any given language. It's, again, just to let people know the primary language of the group. And then you can choose which of your contacts to invite. And if you hold the Control button down, it will do a multi-select. Or if you hit Control-A, it will select all. Once I submit this group, this will now become part of your My Groups. So you can see the groups that I'm participating in or that I am the creator of. So we're getting to the bottom of the hour. For those of you that do need to leave right at the bottom of the hour, I would like to thank you for your time today. Just a reminder, this webinar is being recorded. It will be made available on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. It will also be made available on our support site. You can get there by clicking on the question mark button in BNI Connect, and that will take you to our support site. And if you scroll to the bottom, you'll see a webinars section there. You'll also see all of the upcoming webinars, including all of our May series was just posted yesterday. If you have a moment, also please join us on facebook.com/BNI Connect Global and give us a like. We also do webinar announcements and tips and tricks and all sorts of things up here on our Facebook site. So please do give us a like and follow us up on Facebook. So at this point, I would like to open it up to any questions. If anybody has any questions about the connections, the groups, the testimonials, or anything else in BNI Connect, I would be happy to answer those questions now. So if there are no questions, again, I'd like to thank everybody for their time today. A good referral for me is if you found something useful in today's webinar, please do pass along this information. Please let your other chapter members know about these webinars. We do anywhere between 12 and 20 live webinars and demonstrations every month. We would love to have more participants on a weekly basis. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful week, and happy connecting, everyone.